Hi, this is needlepointers.com. Today I'd like to share with you this new Go Big fabric cutter that I received for Christmas and show how easy it is to cut fabric with this fabric cutter. I was really amazed at how fast and easy it is to cut blocks with this fabric cutter. I was able to cut a stack of blocks like this in 6 to 7 minutes with this cutter. And I cut all of these blocks probably in a little more than half an hour. So it's a really big time saver on squares, but even better when you start cutting triangles and other shapes. The cutter I have is the Accuquilt Go Big cutter. This one is an electric version of their other cutters. They have two smaller size cutters, the Go Me and the Go. And this is the Go Big. They also have an even bigger cutter that is the Studio cutter. Before I get into the demo, I'd like to say that needlepointers.com is an Accuquilt affiliate, so we have access to special sales and coupons for our viewers. When you purchase through the Accuquilt links on our website, we will receive a commission for referring you to Accuquilt. You do not pay any higher price for your purchases, but we will have coupons and sale links for you on our website. Purchasing products through our links helps to support us to keep making more videos. Click the link in the iCard or the video description to visit our site. We have a page with current specials from Accuquilt, so you can be sure to get your discounts. So what comes with the package, the Go Big, is the Go Big machine. It has this cover that you can use when you're storing it. It comes with a pattern and idea book, a instruction booklet, and a quick start guide. It comes with one die, which is the Flying Geese 3" by 6" finished size block. And it also comes with a mat that you'll see how you use when you're cutting. The pattern and idea book has a bunch of different patterns that you can make using this die and possibly some other dies. My first project I made, and I'm not quite finished with yet, is this Celebration table runner, which is in this booklet, and I used some of the fabrics I had around my house and this is the Flying Geese die used there, and it's also being used here on the stars. And I look forward to having that finished. So let's open up the Go Big and take a look at it. The dust cover comes off. And you lay it flat on your table like this. And then it flips open. So as you can see, the dies are two-tone in color. So the foam here is showing what shape it is going to cut in each section. And then you have the contrasting foam to indicate the areas. So this makes it easier when you're going to lay your fabric down and cut it. When you use the cutters, the fabric should be placed with the lengthwise grain going this direction across the cutter, which means basically that your selvage would be along this axis. And that's the lengthwise grain of the fabric. But if you can cut it in different orientations if you have to, depending on the fabric that you're cutting. So here's this piece of scrap fabric I have, and I can cut, with this cutter we can cut up to 6 layers at one time. I am going to show you cutting 4 layers. And to cut it, I just lay my fabric down, and it's completely covering the light gray cutting lines. A cutting mat is needed to be put on the top because what happens when it goes through the cutter, no matter what kind of cutter you have with Accuquilt, the cutter will compress the mat down into the die, and there are sharp blades built into this die in the shape that you're cutting, and it compresses it down to bring the blades up and then cut your fabric. So now that we're ready with the dye, the fabric, and the cutting mat on top, we can send it through. And I can just get it started, and it goes through on its own with this electric cutter. And there you have it. And if I slide that off, and I can remove this, and there we have it. I have 4 half square triangles cut. That's 4 of them. And 8 quarter square triangles, all cut with one pass. When you're cutting with a die like this, you don't have to cut both sets of triangles at the same time. You can cut just some of them. So if I just need some extra quarter square triangles, I can just put some fabric over top of that section of the die, put the cutting mat on it, and then send it through. And I'm not pushing it, it's going on its own. And there I have 8 more quarter square triangles. And that's how fast it is to cut them. So the pros and the cons of this fabric cutter, the pros are that it is much faster than rotary cutting, especially if you're cutting triangle blocks or more complicated blocks. It's easy and more accurate than rotary cutting. You can cut up to 6 layers at once. It minimizes your hand, arm, and back strain. There are dies for almost any block you want to make, including some very customized blocks. All of the cut blocks include seam allowances. The cutter will cut very complicated shapes quickly and easily. And as I said before, the corners on the triangles are trimmed, so you don't have to trim off all the dog ears after you assemble the blocks. Some other pros are that on more complicated blocks, such as curved blocks, they provide notches that are cut into the shapes so that you can line up your curves properly and when you're doing the 2 different curves together. And finally, this machine is small and it is portable. This one is a bit heavy and maybe not quite as portable, but the smaller version, especially the Go Me, is very portable. The cons of this machine are there is some fabric waste. When you're cutting the square blocks or these triangle blocks, you do end up with these little bits that would be around the block. When you're rotary cutting, you can pretty much use up almost all of the fabric, but there is some waste in that also. My daughter plans on trying to use this waste as stuffing for like stuffed animals or pillows or something. So we're going to save this and see if we can repurpose it into another life. The other cons are the expense of the cutter itself and the dies. From my demo, you might have surmised that each die can only cut one specific size and shape. So for every size and every shape that you want to cut, you do need to buy separate dies. So this can get kind of expensive, but if you buy dies that you are going to use quite a lot, then it can be affordable because you're going to use it over and over again. So I tried to pick out some dies that I felt I would use a lot. Some of the dies will not work with the smaller machines. For example, this is a strip die, and this one will only work with the bigger cutters. It won't work with the Go Me cutter. And lastly, these mats will need to be replaced periodically. They include one mat with the Go cutter for this size die, and you can use it with different dies that are the same size. But after a while, the mat will get scored up a lot and may need to be replaced. And you can use it in different orientations, you know, upside down, back, forwards, different ways to lengthen the life of the mat. But the mats are rather inexpensive compared to the dies. So that's all the pros and cons I have for this Go Big cutter. The last thing I wanted to show you was this Go Cube mix and match 10-inch block that I purchased. This is a great way to get started with your Accuquilt cutter. They sell these cubes in finished block sizes. This one's for a 10-inch finished block. They also sell 12-inch, 9-inch, 8-inch, and 6-inch to make finished size blocks. And each cube comes with the same set of dies, but in just different sizes that can be mixed and matched to create different 10-inch blocks. On the side of the package here, you can see that it can create up to 72 different block designs with this one package. Each Go Cube comes with 2 squares, 1 half square triangle, 1 quarter square triangle, 1 square on point, parallelogram, and a rectangle. It also comes with this free Go Cube book by Eleanor Burns, and this helps you visualize some different patterns that you can make, quilt patterns that you can make with your cube. Also, the Accuquilt website has a lot of free quilt patterns and blocks that you can make with the dies. So this is the 5-inch square die that came with my 10-inch mix and match block. And it came with a cutting mat that goes with this size of block. This is the 3-inch square, which came also with a mat. And this is a 2.5-inch square finished block. So anytime you need a 2.5-inch finished block, I will have it. This is how they come in the package. So this is the half square triangle, which is a 5-inch finished square, half square triangle. And this is a quarter square triangle, which is also a 5-inch finished square triangle. In here is the parallelogram and a rectangle block. So each of these will cut two parallelograms or 2 rectangles. And finally, for the smaller blocks, you get as I showed before, the 3-inch square, which is 2.5-inch finished, the 2.5-inch finished square, half square triangle block, and a 4 1/16 inch or 3 9/16 inch finished square on point. There is also a Getting Started DVD included in the package. And I'll demo the strip die in a future video. The strip dies are nice because they can be multi-purpose and be used to cut both strips and squares. So this is a 2.5-inch strip die, and it will cut 1, 2, 3 strips all at once. And once I cut the strips, I can then take the strips and lay them across this way and fan fold them back and forth. So I have 6 layers, and then I can cut my 2.5-inch squares, which would be 2-inch finished squares when you sew the seams. So I like the idea of these because I can use them for multiple purposes, and I'm all for being able to use things for more than one thing. So I hope you enjoyed seeing this Accuquilt Go Big cutter and learning a little bit about the cutters and how they work. I also wanted to say that everything I've said in this video is my opinion, and we were not asked by Accuquilt to create this review or given any of the products here. I've purchased all of this myself, so they weren't influencing me to make this video. If you have any questions or comments on this video, please add them below. We do respond to questions in the comments. Please like and share our videos, and if you're not a subscriber, subscribe to our channel so you won't miss future videos. Help us spread our videos by sharing them with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and Instagram. Visit our website, needlepointers.com, for lots of other quilting tutorials and free projects. While you are there, be sure to sign up for our weekly newsletter to keep up with us.